Hi, I'm back from my unplanned summer hiatus from the weekly Q&A. I was traveling a lot and just spending a lot of time with family, but I'm back today with two really great questions that are connected. I'm going to go and read them. Okay, the first is how to be curious about accepting, not overthinking, not obsessing about what's next in life. How do you balance planning and thinking about what's next, figuring out passions, interests, jobs, and not obsessing over it? And the next question that I feel like is related is, how can these same ideas, and I'm imagining the person means this three principles understanding, just understanding where our experience comes from, how can these same ideas be applied to anxiety around making the wrong life choices, wrong career choices, relationships, having babies? So the first thing that came to me was recognizing what's actually doing life. And I guess what I mean is it's so much more than just our thinking. It's actually not like our thinking, our ego, our personal mind that's the thing that's doing life. And I'd be curious for you, everyone that's listening, have there been those times when you just knew, whether it's you just spring into action or you just have this deep knowing, like you just didn't have to think about it? Our intellect is really great. If maybe we're thinking how early we should leave to get to the airport or probably getting through school and math, but maybe not even on math problems. Sometimes we probably just need to let our thinking go. It makes me think of a quote by Einstein that I really like. I think 99 times and nothing comes. I stop thinking, swim in silence, and the truth comes to me. And that silence allows for our wisdom, our common sense, just that universal mind to kind of break through and we can hear it. So for these questions, some important things is recognizing the intellect, the personal mind, the ego. What's that voice? That goes for fear and excitement. Like, hey, you're 29. You got to figure out what's next in life. You got to think about it. What are you passionate about? What if you make the wrong choice? Is this person good? Is this your partner? Are you actually really happy? Do you want babies? And actually, when we're thinking, it just shakes us up. All of that trying to figure it out when we think we can get it wrong, when we feel pressured. Often you can't be thinking about your life and be happy. I remember hearing that from Dick and Benninger. But when you're just in your life, there's this natural happiness that bobs to the surface. So especially if you've unintentionally, very innocently put some artificial pressure, like you need to figure out what is next. You need to figure out if this person is right for you. You need to figure out if you want to have babies. You need to figure out, do you want to change careers because you're 35 and you don't want to wait too long? That is that anxious thinking. That's that personal mind. And you don't have to do anything but recognize it. When you can recognize that you might feel pressure, or you might feel like you can get it wrong, or you're behind in some way, you might feel like that, but it doesn't mean it's true. Recognizing you're just feeling your thinking. And then what you can also recognize is mind, which shows up as peace, quiet, and wisdom. And so if you kind of feel that, like you got to figure it out, that might just be an invitation to actually do the opposite. I know I don't need to figure it out. I know I'm not really going to be very wise hopping on this train of thought. Recognize that when we just know, it doesn't come from a place of thinking. You just do it with feeling. Have you ever lost your keys or your glasses or something, and you're like looking and looking and you're thinking a lot, and you just kind of get that feeling that you're not seeing clearly. So you just kind of give it up. And then you get an insight. I left it in my puffy coat. Oh my gosh, it's in my backpack from when I went hiking. When you're trying to figure out the next step, sometimes you just have to go to nothing to get something. You have to let go of the intellect, let go of that kind of thinking to allow wisdom, that peace and quiet and deep knowing just to pop up. And we know it when it leaves us feeling settled, secure, and confident. And to me, it's knowing you cannot get it wrong. You really can't. I know you might be thinking, but what if I don't have children? And like, I miss that. I don't know, from where I'm at, that wouldn't be wrong. You know, also the thought of, oh, I made the wrong choice. I think everybody has those, when you have, even when you have kids, and sometimes you think, oh God, and it's not temporary. It's just a thought coming and going, where you can't get it wrong in your career, with your passions. Like each day is a fresh new opportunity, actually, each moment. And so I think with these questions, and that first one, how to be curious. What does that feeling of curiosity mean? I love that, because it is being curious. And you can just notice when you get fast and furious. And you can go to calm and curious, because that feeling, fast and furious, where we feel like there's pressure, that doesn't feel good. It kind of feel like this, like it starts to feel painful. Maybe we get a headache and we think, or we start to just feel bad for ourselves. That pain, that suffering, it's a health promoting invitation to look in a new direction beyond the intellect. So obsessing, kind of that tight thinking, it doesn't feel good. And that not feeling good, again, it's a friendly warning, a friendly signal, like, hey, you're going in the wrong direction. Let it go. Just from love. Just when you can see that without judgment, then you've got freedom and you can let your life unfold. And I remember, it makes me kind of think of, I think, what Sid Banks said, of being free of too many desires, too many details. Having a direction or intention is helpful, but detailed plans aren't needed. That can hold our wisdom at bay. If you're like, what? I am really into art, kind of like ceramics. That kind of loose plan. But if you're like, I'm going to have a ceramic studio and make $100,000 by next year, like that might create this artificial pressure that might hold your wisdom at bay. And why we want to have wisdom, is then it's just that quiet and that deep listening, that patience to wait until action or decision arises from wisdom. And that can take us down unexpected paths towards our destination, knowing we can't get it wrong. Some of that is just that patience, and I feel that sometimes, like when I'm trying to make a video and I have this artificial pressure, or sometimes it's real. I'm like, I need to get a video out for my subscription. And I honestly, sometimes if I put that, sometimes I can't get a good idea. And it's when I just let it go that I get a good idea, and it's not from my thinking. So that's, I think, the big takeaway, is to realize that using your thinking isn't really helpful here. You don't actually maybe need to kind of think with your intellectual mind about what's next, unless you notice that, oh, actually, when I think, just, that might be a different type of thinking. That's just, maybe you're just in flow. But that's that takeaway. Recognize, how does your thinking feel? Does it feel fun? Does it feel flowing? Does it feel kind of effortless, or does it feel sticky? And there's no judgment, because we can all get there. If it feels kind of sticky and pressure and fueled by fear and like this pressure, oh, that's just a signal, let it go. Because often that's when we get the best ideas. It's like when we're out walking or we're in the shower, when we take the pressure off. So you take the pressure off, be curious, and know that this is the wisdom that creates worlds, that grew you. It's just going to so be helpful on the path to your life.